What if I told you that right now, inside your body, there's a powerful anti aging system that scientists believe could help you live longer, stay sharper, and keep your cells younger? What if this system could clean out the junk in your cells, protect your brain from diseases like Alzheimer's, and even reduce your risk of heart disease? And here's the best part, you can turn it on yourself without any expensive supplements or complicated treatments. All you need to do is stop eating for a little while. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, stick around because today we're diving deep into autophagy, the cellular process that's being called the fountain of youth, hiding inside your own body. Before we get into the science, if you want to learn more about fasting, health optimization, and natural ways to extend your lifespan, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We break down the latest research so you can make better decisions about your health. So let's start with the basics. What exactly is autophagy? The word autophagy comes from Greek words meaning self-eating. Now I know that sounds a bit disturbing, but stay with me. Autophagy is actually your body's natural recycling system. Think of it like a cleanup crew that goes through your cells, finds all the broken, damaged, or worn out parts, and either fixes them or breaks them down to be reused. Pretty amazing, right? Here's why this matters. Every single day, your cells are working hard. They're producing energy, fighting off infections, and repairing damage. But over time, things start to break down. Old proteins clump together, mitochondria, which are like the power plants of your cells, become damaged and stop working efficiently. Cellular waste builds up. If this junk isn't cleaned out, it can cause serious problems. We're talking inflammation, cellular aging, and eventually diseases like diabetes, heart disease, cancer, and Alzheimer's. This is where autophagy comes to the rescue. When autophagy is activated, your cells start breaking down these damaged components and recycling them into new functional parts. It's like taking apart an old broken down car and using the parts to build something new and functional. This process keeps your cells young and healthy. And guess what controls this process? You do. Through something as simple as when you eat and when you don't. Now, you might be wondering, how does fasting trigger autophagy? Great question. Under normal conditions, when you're eating regularly throughout the day, your body has a constant supply of nutrients. Your cells are in growth mode, building new proteins, storing energy. There's a protein called mTOR that acts like a growth switch in your cells. When mTOR is active, autophagy is turned off. Why would your cells recycle old parts when there's plenty of fresh material coming in from food? But here's what happens when you fast. After several hours without food, your blood sugar and insulin levels drop. Your body runs out of glucose, the quick energy source it normally uses. So it starts breaking down stored glycogen in your liver. Once that's depleted, usually after about 12 to 16 fairs, your body shifts into a different metabolic state. It starts producing ketones from stored fat. These ketones aren't just fuel. Research published in Nature Cell Biology in 2024 shows that fasting promotes the synthesis of a compound called spermidine, which is essential for triggering autophagy and extending lifespan across multiple species. When your cells sense this lack of nutrients, that's when the magic happens. mTOR gets turned off, and a different set of genes, called autophagy-related genes, get switched on. Your cells essentially say, okay, we're not getting external nutrients, so let's clean house and recycle what we've got. This is when autophagy kicks into high gear. So how long do you actually need to fast to activate autophagy? This is one of the most common questions, and the answer depends on several factors, including your metabolism, your diet, and your activity level. But here's what the research tells us. Studies on animals, particularly a study published in the journal Autophagy, found that autophagy starts to increase around 24 hours of fasting and peaks at around 48 hours. In humans, the picture is a bit more complex, but research from the University of Adelaide, published in 2025, found that intermittent time-restricted eating may increase autophagic flux in humans after about 6 months of consistent practice. Now, You don't necessarily need to fast for days to see benefits. Studies suggest that autophagy can begin to activate as early as 16 to 18 hours into a fast, especially if you're following a low carb or ketogenic diet. This is because people on these diets have lower glycogen stores, so their bodies switch to fat burning and ketone production faster. A 2025 study published in Clinical Nutrition found that even a 7-day fasting mimicking diet significantly induced autophagy at the molecular level while also promoting cardiometabolic health. Here's where it gets really interesting. Let me ask you this. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to age more slowly than others? Why some 80-year-old have the energy and mental clarity of someone decades younger? Autophagy might be a big part of the answer. Research published in 2024 by the Foundation for Research and Technology shows that autophagy is directly linked to longevity and aging. As we get older, our autophagy levels naturally decline. This means damaged proteins and dysfunctional cellular components start accumulating faster than they can be cleared out. This buildup is associated with almost every age-related disease you can think of. But here's the exciting part. Studies show that when you activate autophagy through fasting, you can actually slow down this aging process. A research review from the University of California, San Diego, published in Microbial Physiology in 2024, concluded that intermittent fasting promotes longevity by activating autophagy, which helps prevent chronic degenerative inflammatory diseases. The researchers found that caloric restriction and fasting are among the best interventions for slowing aging and extending both lifespan and health span across multiple species, from fruit flies to mammals. Let's talk about your brain for a moment. This is where autophagy becomes even more impressive. Your brain is incredibly energy intensive, using about 20% of your body's total energy, despite being only about 2% of your body weight. For a long time, scientists believed that the brain was somehow protected from the effects of fasting, that autophagy didn't really happen in brain cells. But a groundbreaking study published in Autophagy completely changed that thinking. Researchers found that just 24 hours of fasting induced profound neuronal autophagy in the brain. They discovered that autophagy in the brain actually increases significantly with fasting, helping to clear out damaged proteins and cellular debris that can contribute to neurodegenerative diseases. This is huge for diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, where protein buildup in the brain is a major problem. A recent review published in 2025 in the Essentials Frontline Medical Journal highlighted how fasting induced autophagy could be a natural, accessible way to help prevent Alzheimer's disease. The researchers pointed out that autophagy helps clear amyloid beta plaques and tau protein tangles, the two main culprits in Alzheimer's pathology. They also noted that short-term fasting induces neuronal autophagy, which may provide a simple, safe, and inexpensive method to promote therapeutic neuronal benefits. Think about that for a second. Something as straightforward as adjusting when you eat could potentially protect your brain from one of the most feared diseases of aging. That's the power of autophagy. Now, let's talk about your heart. Cardiovascular disease is still the leading cause of death globally, but autophagy might offer some protection here too. Research published in the World Journal of Cardiology in 2024 examined fasting-induced autophagy in the aging heart. The researchers found that fasting improved cardiac function and longevity in animal models by promoting the clearance of damaged cellular components through autophagy, including something called mitophagy, which is the recycling of damaged mitochondria. Here's why that matters. As you age, your heart muscle cells accumulate damaged mitochondria. These dysfunctional power plants can't produce energy efficiently, leading to heart weakness and disease. But when autophagy is activated through fasting, these damaged mitochondria get cleared out and replaced with healthy ones. The result? Better heart function, reduced risk of cardiac disease, and potentially a longer life. A study on alternate day fasting in elderly rats showed that fasting induced autophagy helped prevent age related cardiac dysfunction. While we need more human studies, the evidence from animal research is extremely promising. If you're finding this information valuable, make sure you subscribe to Core Health so you don't miss out on more evidence-based health content. Hit that subscribe button now. We've got tons of videos on fasting, longevity, and metabolic health coming your way. Hi. So we've talked about how autophagy protects your brain and heart, but the benefits don't stop there. Let's discuss inflammation and the immune system. Chronic low-grade inflammation is like a slow-burning fire inside your body. It's linked to almost every chronic disease, from arthritis to cancer to metabolic syndrome. The good news, autophagy has powerful anti-inflammatory effects. A study published in Science Direct in 2023 followed healthy young males who practiced prolonged intermittent fasting for 30 days, fasting 17 to 19 hours per day. The researchers measured markers of autophagy, inflammation, and cellular senescence. What they found was fascinating. Prolonged intermittent fasting significantly increased the expression of autophagy genes like ATG5 and UOC1. At the same time, inflammatory markers decreased over time. The researchers concluded that prolonged intermittent fasting affects autophagy, inflammation, and cellular aging in a time-dependent manner, and it could be implemented as a non-pharmacological, low-cost therapy to promote rejuvenation. Let me ask you something. How often do you think about your cells aging? Probably not very often, right? But cellular senescence, that's the technical term for when cells stop dividing and become dysfunctional, is a major driver of aging. These senescent cells don't die off like they should. Instead, they stick around, releasing inflammatory molecules that damage surrounding healthy cells. Autophagy helps clear out these zombie cells before they cause problems. The same study found that prolonged fasting significantly reduced the expression of senescence markers like P21 and P16. This suggests that fasting doesn't just activate autophagy, it also helps slow down the aging process at the cellular level. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. This all sounds great, but is it safe? Do I really need to fast for days to get these benefits? Let's address these concerns. First, you don't need to do extreme fasting to activate autophagy. While longer fasts of 48 hours or more may produce stronger effects, even shorter fasting windows can trigger autophagy to some degree. A popular and sustainable approach is intermittent fasting, like the 16-8 method, where you fast for 16 hours and eat within an 8-hour window. Research suggests this can begin to activate autophagy, especially if you do it consistently over time. Another approach is the 5-2 diet, where you eat normally 5 days a week and restrict calories to about 500 to 600 calories on 2 non-consecutive days. Or you could try a 24-hour fast once or twice a week. A recent pilot clinical trial published just days ago in Longevity Technology reported that a 5-day fasting mimicking diet not only improved metabolic health markers, but also increased autophagic activity in humans. This was one of the first studies to directly measure autophagy during a dietary intervention in people. The researchers emphasized that, unlike extreme water-only fasting, a fasting mimicking diet provides essential nutrients while still triggering the biological responses of fasting, making it safer and more accessible, especially for older adults. But here's an important point. Fasting isn't for everyone. If you have certain medical conditions, like diabetes, if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, or if you have a history of eating disorders, you should talk to your healthcare provider before trying any form of fasting. The goal is to improve your health, not put it at risk. Let me share something really interesting. Autophagy isn't just turned on by fasting. Exercise can also stimulate it. When you work out, especially with high intensity interval training or resistance training, you're creating stress in your muscles. This stress signals your cells to activate autophagy to repair and rebuild. Research shows that combining exercise with fasting can amplify the autophagy response. So if you're doing a morning workout in a fasted state, you're essentially giving your cells a double boost. Other lifestyle factors can support autophagy too. Getting quality sleep is crucial because autophagy is also active during sleep, helping your brain clear out waste products. Certain foods and compounds may also enhance autophagy. Polyphenols found in green tea, coffee, and berries, as well as compounds like resveratrol in red grapes, and spermidine in foods like wheat germ and aged cheese have been shown to support autophagy processes. So let's bring this all together. What are the real anti-aging benefits of autophagy? Based on the research, here's what we know. Autophagy helps protect your brain from neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's by clearing out toxic protein buildup. It supports heart health by removing damaged mitochondria and improving cardiac function. It reduces chronic inflammation, which is a major driver of aging and disease. It clears out senescent zombie cells that contribute to aging. It may help protect against cancer by removing damaged cellular components that could become cancerous. It improves metabolic health, helping with insulin sensitivity and blood sugar control. And it potentially extends both lifespan and health span, giving you not just more years, but more healthy, vibrant years. The beauty of autophagy is that it's a natural process your body already knows how to do. You're not introducing anything foreign, you're simply creating the conditions through fasting, exercise, and lifestyle choices that allow your cells to clean and repair themselves. It's like hitting a reset button on your cellular health. Now, here's the key takeaway. The science around autophagy and fasting is still evolving. We're learning more every year about how this process works in humans and how we can optimize it. But the evidence we have so far is incredibly promising. From animal studies to human trials, the data consistently shows that activating autophagy through fasting and other lifestyle interventions can have profound effects on health and longevity. So what can you do right now? If you're interested in activating autophagy, start simple. Try a 16-hour fast, which means finishing dinner by 7 p.m. and not eating again until 11 a.m. the next day. That's a 16-8 intermittent fasting schedule. See how you feel. Pay attention to your energy levels, mental clarity, and overall well-being. Many people report feeling more focused and energized once they adapt to this eating pattern. If 16 hours feels manageable, you might experiment with longer fasting windows, like 18 to 20 hours, or even a full 24-hour fast once a week. Remember, the goal isn't to starve yourself or feel miserable. It's to give your body the time it needs to activate its natural repair and rejuvenation processes. And don't forget the other pieces of the puzzle. Exercise regularly, prioritize sleep, manage stress, stay hydrated, and eat nutrient-dense whole foods during your eating windows. All of these factors work together to support healthy autophagy and overall longevity. Before we wrap up, let me ask you this. If you could take one simple action today that might help you live longer, stay mentally sharp, protect your heart, and slow down aging, would you do it? That's what the science of autophagy is offering us. It's not a magic pill, but it might be the closest thing we have to a fountain of youth. And it's something you can start implementing today. Thanks for watching. If you found this information valuable, do me a favor and hit that like button. Share this video with someone interested in health and longevity. And remember to subscribe to the channel for more evidence-based content on fasting, metabolism, and living your healthiest life. Drop a comment below and let me know, have you tried fasting? What's been your experience? I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and they'll take care of you.